Welcome to Voices in Transformation. Daniel, I'm going to start with you. Would you say that agentic AI is an evolution of existing automation or a complete revolution in how supply chains run?
Maria, I would say it's a complete revolution. It's much more than automation, although it includes automation. But so much more can be achieved with agentic AI if properly applied supply chains. So, complete end to end chains or end to end processes can be reinvented much more than automated, but reinvented in order to be more efficient, more predictable.
Pavneet, which areas of the supply chain do you think are most or even least ready to operate autonomously?
Yeah, Maria, one of the most exciting things about working in supply chain is its ability to coordinate a response against disruptions. And this typically happens by not by itself, but by working with a lot of different companies in the upstream and downstream part of the supply chain. So, in my understanding, a lot of areas of supply chain where there's immense amount of data that's being produced, those are the ones that have the maximal value because out there, take shop floor for an example. There's a lot of data coming out from there every minute, every second, and once this data is put in the right context, you can optimize and kind of automate the level that you want to, and there is no limit, as Daniel said earlier. It's a revolution, right? And I think that one of the other points that we need to keep in mind is sharing this data across the partnerships. As I said, that's really important. How do we actually automate beyond the boundary? I think that's really a most important thing in my opinion.
And Daniel, how do you see customers actually, getting value from agentic AI across the supply chain, and what suggestions do you have for them?
I would say for us, when we talk about solutioning, right? When we talk about adoption of SAP Business I would say SAP is very well positioned in terms of having the suite of solutions across all the supply chain process, if you will, from planning to execution to fulfillment to delivery. And when we have SAP Business AI all across this chain, that's where I would say magic will happen for supply chain. It's not only a solutioning or tooling kind of adoption, but when we reinvent our process to understand where AI or where agents will fit into key parts of this process, that's where real benefits and real ROI from agentic AI adoption will come. You don't need to start reinventing right off. I understand that's super difficult. That is not even realistic, right? For someone or some company that never adopt or is starting adopting, saying that, hey, you need to adopt to reinvent everything. I would say it's not the way I see it. I would say this is the end game. So you can really start small and you can, and then really scaling at your own pace while you reinvent and then you see ROI coming. I would say that would be the ideal path to make that happen.
And Pavneet, what will it take for companies to really, truly trust agentic AI to make critical supply chain decisions?
Maria, I have a confession to make. So I'm new to cruise control on my car, and I've been trying to use it for maybe I would say 6 months, and I don't trust it. Forget about sitting in an autonomous car. I'm not going to sit. I'm not even comfortable with cruise control yet. I think agentic AI and trust in AI in general is something like that. You want to trust it, and then you press the brakes, and then you trust it again, and then you press the brakes. So I think for our customers, they are used to running their business using certain protocol that has worked for decades, if not longer, and they run big part of their business with Excel. So any trust that has to be built outside this is very difficult. So first thing for me is if if the AI that they're adopting can understand their business, can be relevant to the business, and can give uh, answers that are predictable. So it's not like an answer like give me an itinerary to go here and it gives me a different answer every time I ask it. Especially in supply chain, it has to be a dependable answer. You can't let go of the control and say, oh, optimize my suppliers or change my plan or my production schedule, and just wait for it to you know to just mess itself up. So in my opinion, the trust has to be built with a human in the center while the product is being built and while it is being also implemented and adopted. So this requires a different level of change management, in my opinion. And I see some companies doing it already, advertising specific roles for AI change managers, and I find that fascinating. So I think it's really a different ball game today.
And for 2026 and beyond, any thoughts on what that looks like for the agentic game, Daniel?
So, Maria, for what I'm seeing happening in companies, I would say um, at least 90% of the clients which I work with, which I help on AI adoption, will be adoption at some stage. At some stage. So, um, most of my work is definitely SAP centric within the suite of SAP of solutions. And the reason for that is I see that there is readiness, there is boldness in terms of the solutions with functionalities that really drives ROI on the adoption. So I really don't see a way that this is not like a ascending path of adoption from now towards, let's say, the end of the next year.
Pavneet?
Yeah, I think we are in the early stages of adoption in terms of AI in supply chain, especially. And if you take agentic AI, I think we're at the beginning. A lot has to be done. The high value use cases are not easy to find. The and I think once you find it, it's not easy to build them in a trusted way. So once you get that out there, I think 2026 will be the year that I think some of these new use cases of AI will start to come in, and customers will start to get really excited about this. So that's my prediction for 2026.
Thank you both for joining me. See you at the next one.